Welcome to TVC News at 6. We're staying with the 2023 budget signing by President Muhammad Buhari that took place earlier today in Abuja, where 21.8 trillion naira, along with the 2022 supplementary appropriation bill, was signed into law. The aggregate expenditures of 21.83 trillion naira is an increase of 1.32 trillion naira over the initial executive proposal for a total expenditure of 20.51 trillion naira. The president explained that the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act would enable his administration respond to the havoc caused by the 2022 floods in some parts of the country. They said the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning will subsequently provide more details of the approved budget and the supporting 2022 Finance Act. President Buhari adds that this decision to sign the 2023 appropriation bill into law as passed by the National Assembly is to enable its immediate implementation, considering the imminent transition process to another democratically elected government.
The Finance Bill 2022 includes measures necessary for the effective implementation of the 2023 budget and the attainment of the various set objectives. As you will recall, I laid the 2023 appropriation bill before the joint session of the National Assembly on the 7th of October 2022 and forwarded the 2022 finance bill thereafter. I believe the next administration will sustain the early presentation of the annual appropriation bill to the National Assembly to ensure its passage before the beginning of the fiscal year. I firmly believe the next administration will also sustain the current public financial management reform efforts, further improve the budgeting processes, and particularly maintain the tradition of supporting the appropriation bills with finance bills designed to facilitate their implementation.
Also in Abuja, the federal government has pledged to support the Republic of Burundi in diverse ways as necessary in the spirit of African solidarity and brotherliness. President Buhari stated this while receiving the special envoy from Burundi at the presidential villa in Abuja, who came with a message from President Evariste Ndayishimiye. Honorable Aldays Niyonzima, Minister of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning of Burundi, says his president sent goodwill for the new year to Nigerians and President Buhari, and also wishes the country well in general election scheduled for February and March this year. The country also made a request in the area of energy provision, particularly fuel. President Buhari said he knows what it feels like for a country to suffer from energy shortage and promised that he would get the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to look into the request. The president also adds that he was looking forward to the polls and retirement since he had satisfied the constitutionally required 2 terms to be in office. To matters, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Aniagwu Bola Tinubu, is in Kano State ahead the party's mega rally. And as part of activities before the rally, the APC candidate paid a courtesy visit to the place of to the palace of the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, to seek his prayers and blessings ahead of the polls. Bola Tinubu said the visit is out of his respect for the traditional institutions in Nigeria, while promising to work with the state to change Kano from a commercial city to a mega city if elected president. He also appreciated the Emir for his deliberate effort to sustain the existing peace in the state. Now, a group of youths in Yobe State is drumming support for the APC flag bearer, Bola Tinubu, and the re-election of Governor Mai Mala Buni. Speaking in Damagum community, leader of the initiative, Musa Damagum, says his team is massively canvassing votes for the APC at all levels. Michael Oshoma reports.
For Funi local government, the numbers are very clear. 22,900. We are not going to get anything less than that. 22,900 votes. These are secured, guaranteed votes for Tinubu Shetima and Maimala Buni.
The support for APC presidential candidate and the re-election of Governor Mai Mala Buni is gaining serious momentum in Yobe State. In Damagun community, these youth have assembled to strategize and sensitize the electorate on the need to get the PVCs to vote Bola Tinubu and Governor Mai Mala Buni for a second term. The leader of the initiative, Musa Damagun, speaks more on what informed the gathering.
Yobe State is predominantly an APC state, but we have not been able to harness, sufficient votes to represent the number of APC supporters in the state. So this time around, what we have decided to do is to break polling units into smaller groups, smaller cells.
Some of the APC chieftains who graced the event say the initiative is timely.
Your energy and your power is your PVC. Collect your PVC, vote APC, because we are presenting a genuine candidate, a sellable candidate, a candidate that have shown examples. If you go to Lagos today, you know that yes, there is a footprint of Aswaju Dijagaban. If you go to Meduguri, there is a footprint of Kashim Shetima.
We have been brainstorming how we can bring more vote to His Excellency coming 2023 election from top to bottom, all APC. And this project that they are unveiling now shows how committed and technically driven our youths are now. And it's not very big ambition project, it's realistic.
The youth of the Rufa Rufa initiative intend to garner large votes for the APC within their communities for the forthcoming elections. Michael Oshoma, TVC News, Damagun, Yobe State.
And the recent endorsement of the Labour Party presidential candidate by former President Olusegun Obasanjo seems not to be a source of worry for Nigeria's main opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. The party, in a statement signed by the Assistant Deputy Director, Media and Publicity, Campaign Council Management Committee, Delta State, Fred Ogenesibe, said Atiku Abubakar and his running mate, Ifeanyi Okowa, will emerge winners of the presidential election despite the endorsement of Mr. Obi by the former president. Mr. Ogenesibe gave the assurance while speaking to newsmen at a campaign rally in Ogwashiuku, Delta North Senatorial District. He noted that Chief Obasanjo only exercised his constitutional rights of freedom of association entrenched in Chapter 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended by supporting the presidential candidate of his choice. And as the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party lingers, the Chief Press Secretary to the Delta State Governor, Olisa Ifeajika, in reaction to Governor Nyesom Wike's statement of betrayal, says there is no disloyalty by his principal in supporting the PDP presidential candidate and accepting running mate position. Mr. Ifeajika, who spoke to journalists in his office, said the resolution of the southern governors over zoning of the presidency to the south does not in any way supersede the party's no zoning decision reached by leaders, including the PDP southern governors, towards the conduct of the presidential primary.
Our governor, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, did not betray any agreement. No agreement to our knowledge was reached. For us to come out and be part of this contest and win, particularly, we think we should open the space, and nobody objected to it. No governor of PDP objected to it. No senior member of PDP raised any voice against it. We're asking, the question is, where were these governors? Where were these governors when the autumn committee presented this report?
As 2023 election draws near, Nigerians have been advised to disregard messages of division, but instead embrace messages of unity. Anglican Bishop of St. Michael's Cathedral in Kaduna State, Reverend Timothy Yahaya, says he is praying for what he describes as a national rebirth, adding that only unity will move the nation forward. Addressing other national issues, Bishop Yahaya criticized those attacking INEC, the INEC facilities to allow the electoral body prepare for H-free poll in February. He also asked politicians to desist from vote buying while urging electorates to avoid selling their votes.
The best way forward still in the whole world is the democratic government. And I pray we uphold the tenets of democracy. And those of them that are having one grievances or the other, go and settle it. Let there be dialogue. Burning down INEC offices will not change any result of election. Burning down INEC offices will not fix the nation Nigeria. What will fix the nation Nigeria is our coming together as a people to sit down and to discuss.
And now to judicial matters. A third witness has testified to the department's trial, in the department trial against the managing director of Optimal Cancer Care Foundation, Dr. Femi Olaleye. Bisi Ajayi Kayode, who is a lawyer and child forensic interviewer with Seshe Yara Advocacy Center, told Justice Rahim Oshodi of the Lagos State Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court sitting in Ikeja on Tuesday that she interviewed the survivor and found that the defendant had allegedly engaged in serial sexual activities with a teenager between 2020 and 2021. The 18-year-old survivor, whose names withheld to protect her identity, was living with the defendant, his wife, and their 2 children at the time. The witness, who was led in her evidence by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Babajide Martins, told the court that the popular cancer care specialist also used tactics of threat and coercion to silence the survivor, using his position as her auntie's husband to sexually abuse her. During her cross-examination, lead defense counsel, senior advocate Babatunde Ogala, asked her if she based her conclusion on a medical examination done on the survivor. Mrs. Ajayi Kayode admitted that she didn't see a medical report of any examination done on the survivor, and she didn't ask the survivor if she had done one before coming for the interview. She was also asked if the survivor told her when exactly the alleged acts were done, but the witness said the survivor gave a sequence of events in a free narrative recall manner. Further hearing is fixed for January the 4th, 2023. Now let's turn our attention to this rather sad news in Ogun State, where a former employee of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Kehinde Fatinyoye, and his wife, Oluwa Bukola, who were killed on New Year's Day in Abeokuta, have now been buried. They were killed at their residence in Ibara, Abeokuta, after returning from a crossover service. The assailants also went away with the deceased son and housemaid and subsequently dumped them in the river. The housemaid, who later escaped, alerted the police, which led to the recovery of the body of the deceased son. The younger brother to the deceased, Sheyi Fatinyoye, spoke with TVC News in Abeokuta. And now, in its efforts to strengthen the criminal justice system and standardize investigation processes in Nigeria Police Force, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali-Baba, has ordered a streamlining of all police investigative processes to prevent duplication of investigation. The IGP, in a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Oluimi Wadejobi, gave the directives as the reviews of files and cases in response to complaints on indiscriminate transfers of cases from zonal and state commands and other investigative units of the force by operatives. He stressed that the situation has often given rise to parallel investigations by multiple units, leading to conflicting arrests of parties and different outcomes, even when such matters have been conclusively investigated and charged to court. IGP Usman Baba therefore warned that transfer for taking over of cases from commands and formations to federal headquarters-based outfits must only be carried out upon approval of a written petition to the Inspector General of Police, which will serve as authority for any such action. He also appeals to members of the public to be on the same page with the police leadership in its bid to sanitize the process and strengthen criminal justice system. No fewer than 400 vulnerable groups have been empowered by the food items by the non-governmental organization in Taraba State. The beneficiaries are victims of the recent flood and communal conflicts in the state. In a remark, the president of Complete Glorious Women Fellowship International, Mrs. Monisola Akintunde, said the mission of the organization is to reach out to the less privileged and young girls across the country by rebuilding them morally, spiritually, and financially.
This organization itself, they are used to helping us as if they are the government. We need government also to help them so that the organization will be more than this.
It's the organization that keep us happy, knowing the word of God, and so many things.
The Complete Glorious Women Fellowship is a fellowship that's founded by God, and then our mission is to reach to young girls in secondary schools, tertiary institutions, by teaching them the word of God, teaching them to live right, teaching them to keep their body. We also reach out to the less privileged in the community by providing scholarship.
Now, it's the first working day of the year 2023, and business activities are beginning to pick up. In Lagos State, while work has begun, many are not so keen on resuming work. TVC News correspondent Theophilus Ilama went to State Secretariat and other business areas, the business districts. The report.
The beginning of the year ushers in a wave of mixed emotions for many. The holiday is over, work resumes, and reality dawns. For a metropolitan city like Lagos, work might not have fully closed during the holidays, but it fully resumes on the first working day of the year. For some of the respondents, this holiday is quite short.
Actually, this morning when I woke up, something still tells me that I should go back to bed. But like I said, the reality always dawns that I need to get to work today. So now that I'm on my way to work, it feels great.
I won't lie to you. Deep within me, it's more like I should not resume today. Like I should have the whole week and resume maybe next week, the day of it. Maybe because it's not just enough for a whole year.
I feel refreshed and I thank God for life. I feel what will happen next should be the best, but we just pray for God's grace.
Despite the length of the break and eventual resumption, others are not to be perturbed by this.
You need to celebrate with your co-officers in the office, and that is why I'm looking forward towards it to resume and catch fun with my officers and enjoy ourselves.
We tend to lose traction with our plans and goals if we give ourselves so much of a break. Maybe it's my personality, but I think that if your plan is to rest for a certain amount of time, yes, or rest for a certain amount of time. After the rest, then work has to commence, whether it's work in the office or whatever plan you've put into place. To be honest with you, I think you'll agree with me that a lot of people use the holiday period not necessarily to rest, maybe to catch up on some things that they weren't really able to do, while they were working.
Being the first working day in the year 2023, the scales are falling off the eyes of many, and there is a realization that we have to get up from our beds and go to work. But of course, many that we have spoken to are of the view that the fear of hunger and poverty is greater than the need to sleep on their bed and enjoy the holiday. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
And in Abuja, civil servants are optimistic that a new year will bring improvements in their lives. They're hoping, among other things, that the economy improves and also look forward to enhanced welfare. Celestina Area reports.
It is the first work day in the year 2023 after the Christmas and New Year holidays. At the Federal Secretariat, activities are gradually picking up as civil servants trickle into their workplaces. On a usual day, this place would have been a beehive of activities, but many civil servants appear to have stayed away, still being in the spirit of Christmas and New Year celebrations. I spoke to those who have resumed, and it is obvious high expectations and hopes from the government in this new year. While some applaud the government for doing reasonably well in 2022, others insist the authorities can do more to bring changes, work and improvement to the living standard of all citizens.
We are hoping to see changes, not the type of changes we received last year, two tenure. The one we are expecting this time should be a better one.
Previously, what these administrations they have done in terms of infrastructure, to my own best of my knowledge, they tried.
I'm scared of travel. Each time I want to travel to Edo State, I'm always scared of kidnapping, bad roads, armed robbers, and what have you.
As a civil servant, if you check, the purchasing power of the civil servant has been eroded by the current economic situation of the country. So government should do better on that.
Salary structure is there. Our own, we lead a staff boss, you understand, that because of the transport issue, that will help us convey us to work.
Mohammed, a Syrian who has lived more than 10 years in the country, hopes for the best in the new year.
I hope and I like to Nigeria become better because we love Nigeria. I came from Syria, but I love Nigeria so much because I spent many years in this country. And we hope for the next government to do well, good job for those people.
This year, citizens will go to the polls to cast their ballot to elect a new president, which will usher in a new administration. President Muhammadu Buhari has assured Nigerians that his administration will ensure a smooth transition to that new administration. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
And with that, it's a wrap on the news this time. Thanks so much for watching. At the top of the hour, Abosede will be here with the latest updates. Bye-bye now.